Friday for the Saints. For someone here, it'll be heartbreaking Sunday, because whoever loses this one bows out. The champions against the side that's beaten them twice already this year, the Castleford Tigers. And it's the first time Wigan have staged a game at the JJB Stadium. The Super League sat up and took notice of Castleford in April as they claimed an historic win over Wigan at Central Park, and it wasn't a flash in the pan. Because in July, the Tigers repeated the dose, the only side in '99 that Wigan haven't beaten, and at Weldon Road, they never looked likely to. A man on a mission, Dean Sampson, controversially snubbed by Andy Goodway for Great Britain. Will he make the Wigan coach regret it? Chris Radlinski, though, and Wigan are in top form. 60 points and 11 tries against Wakefield last week, and the fullback claimed 3 of them. 2 coaches under pressure. Goodway's never been down playoff road before, but Stuart Raper has in Australia, albeit in junior football. So who'll survive? Well, that's the big question. 2 weeks ago, we said farewell to old Central Park. Today, we usher in the new era for the Wigan Warriors. The multi-million-pound JJB Stadium will be home to Wigan for the next 100 years. Now then, this is how the top 5 finished. Remember, on Friday, St Helens blitzed the Leeds Rhinos. The Bradford Bulls have the weekend off. Tonight, it's 4th placed Wigan at home to the Tigers, and the loser bows out of this year's race. This is the way the two sides line up. Wigan have Radlinski at fullback, Robinson, Gilmore, Johnson and Moore the three-quarter line. No Gary Connolly. Clinch at standoff, Tony Smith at halfback. He returns after injury. The forwards, Cowie, Mark Smith and O'Connor, Betts, Cassidy and Farrell, the captain. And on the bench, Mestrov, Horton, Goldspink and Chester. The coach is Andy Goodway. Now the Tigers, they're at full strength. Flowers at full-back, Gay, Eager, Maloney and Rogers, Orr and Davis. The forward pack, Sykes returns after injury, Raper, Sampson, Harland, Fritz and Vowles the skipper. And on the bench, Wells, Pickering, Tonks and Heppy. It couldn't be any stronger than that for coach Stuart Raper. Well, the Castleford supporters have travelled over here in great numbers. There have been awful problems on the motorways getting to Wigan, but the Wiganers have found their way from Old Central Park to the new JJB Stadium. And Adrian Vowles, the Castleford Tigers skipper, leads his men onto the field. Now Stuart Raper, their coach, wants these players to maintain their cool for the next 80 minutes. And if they hold their nerve and play to their potential, Stuart Raper thinks that a big shock is on the cards. Certainly, if any team can do it, this Castleford Tigers team can. They've beaten Wigan twice in 1999. Now they go for an absolutely breathtaking hat-trick. The Castleford club was voted Club of the Year this week. They have made marvellous strides off the field, and when you consider that 2 years ago the Castleford Tigers were candidates for relegation, now they're in the top 5. That progress off the field has been more than mirrored on it. And well done to their coach, Stuart Raper, for that. He has led Cronulla Sharks in Australia to grand finals, albeit at junior levels in the past. Now this is his chance to have a go for the really big prize. But Wigan won't give up their championship lightly. They said an emotional farewell to Central Park 2 weeks ago. This, their first step into the future. And the team that got to Old Trafford winning just once in 1998 knows that they enter the arena of sudden death in 1999. The champions know that the Tigers are the only side they haven't beaten this year. But their supporters have travelled to the new stadium full of hope, and Andy Farrell is probably their most committed player. The Great Britain captain left out of the mythical dream team in favour of his opposite number at Castleford, Adrian Vowles. That could easily stir Andy Farrell up into one of the best performances of his season. And out comes the Wigan captain, and behind him the Warriors, the champions of '98. And we saw etched on the faces of the players on Friday grim determination. There seems to be a grim determination both on the terraces and on the field as well for the Warriors this time round. In many ways, Steve-O, this, the Wigan moment of truth.
Certainly is, but they are knockout specialists, aren't they? Over the years, they know the pressure. They know that composure will play its part. But let's not forget that Castleford do have that wonderful record this year. They have beaten the Warriors twice. Can they make it the hat-trick, as you've just mentioned, Eddie? A lot of pressure also on the merry whistleblower, Stuart Cummings. Let's hope he gives them plenty of room to play around. There's the man that they obviously will be missing, Gary Connolly, just having a bit of a laugh with his coach, Andy Goodway. Will he be smiling at the end of 80 minutes?
Well, one of these two will be, as Danny Orr gets the game in motion. Big kick-off underneath it, Gavin Clinch. Terry O'Connor to take the first drive up, and met by the force of Nathan Sykes. Cowie now, the other prop forward for Wigan, to carry the battle forward. Centre field, midway inside their own half. Wigan in possession, first use of the football. Here's Dennis Betts. Wigan will be out to get off to a breathtaking start. Castleford will want to hold on to their shirt tails in the opening 20 minutes if they possibly can. Farrell was almost through.
Neat little half break there from the skipper, and it appears that the Warriors' tactics, Andy Goodway, their coach, obviously said to them, let's use the kicking game and chase, and they're getting very close.
That was a wonderful kick, a great chase from Paul Johnson, but Jason Flowers was up to it in the end.
Well, it seemed like an eternity that the full-back got there in the end, but what a beautiful tactic to kick the ball through there. Paul Johnson, who's had a great season, nearly snatched the first points in just over the minute.
Well, this is a wide open space, this JJB Stadium pitch. And Wigan, with that kick, they certainly tried to utilise it to the full, and Lee Harlan puts the ball down. The pressure of this knockout playoff getting to him.
It's got to them all right. There were two flat passes right under your own sticks, and that is not what they need. Stuart Raper, their coach, will be displeased with that.
In many ways, a neutral venue this. Let's go to pitch side. Bill Arthur.
It's going to be an interesting test, this, for the Castleford Tigers. Wigan have had 2 training sessions on here. They've had a chance to practice their kicking game, as we've already seen, and they know a little bit more about this pitch than the Tigers do. It is fast, it's a very quick surface, and it's pretty slippery after all today's rain.
Yes, it rained so heavily here that to protect the surface, they cancelled the Academy match that was due for the curtain raiser, so the pitch is in perfect condition. This is Andy Farrell, waiting for Gilmore, and then Vowles and Davis waited for him. Wigan looking to score points early. They're in possession here with Cowie. Big drive by Cowie, met by the fierce Castleford defence. Quick play the ball, Clint, on it goes to Smith. Smith will slide it through, he's gone for the post. Flowers picks up and gets back in the field of play, does he? No. Tried to get it over the whitewash, the football that was held back.
Beautiful little weighted kick there. He went for the post, didn't get the ricochet, but I think Flowers may have got back in the field of play. Well, on the line, so the referee's got it spot on, Stuart Cummings. On the line is part of the in-goal area, so the merry whistleblower spot on.
Well, it's been all Wigan in the opening 3 minutes, and back they come again with Neil Cowie. Cowie to drive it forward.
Well, that mistake from Castleford, Lee Harlan dropping the ball, has put them under a lot of pressure. Can they hang on?
Well, if they do, they will surely grow in confidence defensively, but they want to use the football. They want to get the ball in hand, and they can't at the moment. Gilmore, as he falls, flicks it to Cassidy, and Cassidy straight up the middle, brought down by Davis, by Orr, and also Sampson in there as well. Here now is Andy Farrell. They're going down the short side. Farrell almost through Harland. He gets to him, though, does the Castleford second row.
Stuck to him like a limpet mine there, did the second row of Harland. He had to.
Here's Clinch. Looking for the runners. Betts is one of them. Good tackle by Adrian Vowles.
He's done that all season, hasn't he, the loose forward Vowles.
Clinch going
Poor
down.
kick.
Nowhere there.
Oh, swinging arm there from Betts. Wigan player down, I think it's Clinch.
Well, maybe Betts connected with Clinch rather than with Sampson.
He missed at everybody. But it was certainly swinging the arm. Had a little bit of a caution there by Stuart Cummings. It's Clinch that's down, in a lot of trouble as well.
So Wigan at the moment down to 12 men as this attack through Fritz builds for Castleford, but good defence from Wigan. 4 tackles gone. Castleford penned inside their own half. Jason Flowers now Wigan, well, anybody who could teach them a thing or two about knockout football would be a millionaire. And they really look as though they have got their mindset on getting through to the next phase of this playoff.
Well, it amazes me time and time again why the sides always seem to kick to Jason Robinson. The form that Robinson has been in of late, that would be the last person I'd be kicking the ball to. Cumberland throw, but they're offside too. Dale Fritz really went for the Cumberland. It's rough and tough. We anticipated this. The knockout kings Wigan apply even more pressure. Oh, he's got the ball. That was great defence. Wonderful defence there.
Vowles has it for the Tigers.
Well, what a relief this will be. It was knocked out, I felt. It appeared to me that that could have been a penalty, but the impact, referee Stuart Cummins said it was okay.
Flying tackle there by Andy Farrell on Nathan Sykes. Aaron Raper is the dummy half. Here's Dean Sampson. He at last gets Castleford over the halfway line and into the Wigan half of the field, but only just. Now they will get a little bit more territory because Cowie was interfering in the play of the ball as Sampson tried to get back to his feet.
Well, we mentioned the composure needed from both sides.
Gotta get this area clear, fellas.
A lot of messing around there.
He must come back and wait for his foot.
And that's the reason why Stuart Cummins gave the penalty. Well, this is really the first chance that the Tigers have had to launch anything, an assault at the Wigan line.
And what an opportunity it is. Aaron Raper waiting for the whistle of Stuart Cummins as we clear a second football from the field. This now is Nathan Sykes. Wigan, opposition half, 58% to Castleford's 0. This is the first time that Castleford are in Wigan territory. Haaland! Oh, he was so close!
What a tackle from Radlinski, but what a wonderful move. Oh, they dropped it, Sampson.
Sampson went without it. And
What a waste
Castleford could have been ahead, but for Radlinski's tackle, as it is, Wigan now have the football and they have a penalty for offside.
What a wasted effort. It was a magnificent setup. There, the half-back. It was a delayed run. They used a dummy runner coming on the angle. And this is where Sampson spilt the ball. That's the second occasion that Castleford had coughed it up early in the tackle count. Nerves are playing its part, that's for sure.
Sampson looks as though he's limping slightly as well. Maybe he picked up a band there in that. Well, that was the first time that Castleford were anywhere within touching distance of the Wigan try line, and they came so close to opening the scoring. Wigan back in possession. Farrell, angled run. Cassidy up the middle, flicks it back as he's tackled. Clinch got a fingertip to it, but it went backwards. And Clinch steps around Sykes, steps around Fritz, gives it to his captain. He then gets it wide to Johnson. Johnson's through. He's tackled by Flowers, gets it back to Clinch. Here's Dennis Betts on the charge. Betts will stumble to the line and score. Well, Dennis Betts looked for a moment there as though he was losing his footing. He committed the Castleford defender to the tackle, and Dennis Betts comes up with the first try at the brand new JJB Stadium. And what's more, it's a try that's gone Wigan's way. It could so easily have been for Castleford up the other end a minute or so ago.
So expensive, the mistake from Dean Sampson has allowed Wigan to run riot. And Dennis Betts will claim that this break was a step. It was a stumble, but he'll claim it was a classical piece of attacking football. Beautiful offload there to Johnson. They kept the ball alive. Look at this. He steps, slips. He'll put it down as one of the best side steps he's put forward for many, many a day. But the pressure told in the end. It wasn't the best pass. They kept it going. Clinch, the second effort. Offload. What's this beautiful ball from the Wigan skipper? Superb there. You see how he floated over the back of Chris Radlinski. Back again. They were in all sorts of disarray was the Castleford defence, and Betts takes the fourth.
And Farrell to add the extras, which from there is purely academic. Wigan 6, Castleford 0. And remember, Dennis Betts scored the first try on Wigan's farewell at Central Park 2 weeks ago.
It was a great tackle from Flowers, it had to be. But that man again, Paul Johnson, playing exceptionally well. Look at the stumble. Samson couldn't get to him. And he glides over for the first ever Wigan try here at the new stadium. And what a time to score it.
Looked like he enjoyed the moment, Dennis Betts. Deep kick-off from Castleford. Well, such is the closeness of matches in the playoffs that that tackle from Radlinski could, in the end of things, be deemed to have been the match winner, because had Haaland got over, I just wonder what might have happened next. It certainly would have been a Dennis Betts try, I'm sure of that, but Radlinski's great tackle on his own line, keeping Wigan and their defensive line intact.
Well, it's a real confidence booster for the Warriors. And this man, Andrew Farrell, he has a lot to prove. The imaginary dream team was announced last week. And of course, Adrian Vowles, the man that he's playing against today, was selected in his place. Lot to prove.
Gay picked up the long kick downfield and then picked up 4 Wigan chasers hunting him.
Big hit from Danny Moore, and Gay felt it. It was a real big shoulder. Good work, though, by Maloney. But again, this Wigan defence is solid.
Picked up by Johnson, dumped to the ground. It's now Jason Flowers' turn to carry it forward. Stuart Raper looking just a little bit concerned. I suppose he would have known that his team would be hit by everything but the kitchen sink in the opening 10-20 minutes, and so it's proved to be. Castleford need to get to the pace of this match. Here is Eager, flicks it back to Rogers, match winner so often for Castleford this year. Vowles the dummy half, and Davis now with the kick, but it's a very big stadium, this. And the kick only into Radlinski's arms, who gives it then to Robinson. Back to Radlinski on the loop. Better defence from Castleford, and he lost that. He lost it, but the touch judge indicated to the Castleford players who were appealing the ball went backwards.
Certainly lost control of it and then got it back.
Well, why did it go backwards? That was a knock-on that was missed by the touch judge.
Well, it was right in front of him. It really does amaze me sometimes. Andy Goodway will be quite happy with the fact that they started off with a lot of vim and vigour, and Castleford is struggling to hold this Wigan outfit, who are switching play. They're creating different openings.
Neat little kick there from Tony Smith, but well picked up by Richard Gay. He gets away from 3, and he can't in the end get away from Clinch, who came in for a second snap. Now Jason Flowers again. Danny Orr is the man at dummy half. The runner is Nathan Sykes. Left thigh heavily strapped. Raper dummy half to Vowles, and Vowles just delayed the pass, and Clinch came in for a tackle helped out by Farrell. Not the most convincing of play the balls, but Wigan all caught offside on this near side of the field.
They were fortunate there, Castleford. They played the ball, and you could see there was no one situated at the dummy half.
And Clinch was
said there
judged
was
by the
square.
referee not to be square.
Well, it confused me. I thought it looked okay from that angle, Castleford, but they played the ball so quickly, there was no dummy half in attendance.
Here's Dean Sampson to drive it in at Dennis Betts. Just noticed that Tony Smith has limped back onto the field after receiving treatment off it. We'll get news of that in a moment from Bill. Just let's watch this attack build from Fritz. Oh, and the support was there from Danny Orr. Couldn't just release the ball. Orr at dummy half. He's fooled a couple of defenders. Now he's waiting for Haaland. Good run from Lee Haaland.
Wigan can't afford to allow Danny Orr all that space.
Davis, on it goes to Fritz, further wide to Vowles. Vowles gets the ball away to Eager. That ball was knocked forward and then forward again by Johnson. Referee will play the first.
Well, that's a third mistake.
It's Castleford's head and feet.
Oh, I don't know about that. Oh, it is. It was dragged out. Paul Johnson got fingertips to it. Well, it looked as though he'd lost it. Eager seemed to me as though he'd lost control. Well, very fortunate indeed. Quick decision by Stuart Cummings.
In you go.
Referee been spot on in the opening 14.5 minutes. Now then, this is Danny Orr looking for Eager, and Gilmore was waiting for him.
Wasn't going to be full there, Gilmore. And the defence has been quite superb from the Warriors.
Chris Chester's on the field. This is Adrian Bowles. Can't go anywhere with tackling like that. Betts downstairs low. O'Connor up and over the top. Raper. This is Sykes.
Clear, get out.
Chester standing tall again. Here's Davis. Trying to just drop the shoulder, fool the defence, but Cowie wouldn't be fooled.
That's great defence. They're not being sucked in. They're going up in one line of the Warriors.
The kick over the top was by Danny Orr, looking for Rogers' height. Robinson has dropped it, and that is Eager who's touched down. Now, whose hand got to it first? Was it Eager who touched it, or was it the hand of Jason Robinson?
I think it was Robinson that got there first.
Was it Michael Eager offside?
He wants to see whether it's in front of the kicker. If it's behind it, this will be the try. They look all right.
Well, he's a mile onside. Robinson's
what a mistake there. It's a try. A big mistake to Jason Robinson. It was a beautifully weighted kick into the corner. Rogers went for it, but Robinson got the fingertip, but not strong enough. Well, the Eager, that surely will be a try. They'll look again to see if anybody was offside. Now, was Darren Rogers offside? That's what they're looking at, because it was Darren Rogers that went up for the ball with Robinson. Forget about Eager, the try scorer. They both went for the ball. Robinson knocks it back, but not enough. And Eager, the centre, was just that, and plonks it down. I think this will be TRY. He's confused, is the video referee, I'm sure.
Well, he's had a look, and this is a big decision, and the try is given to Castleford. Only the second time, really, that they've threatened the Wigan line, and Michael Eager comes up. Terrific kick. Danny Orr, I think it was, with the kick. Floated it high. Robinson, well, he's about 2.5 foot shorter than Darren Rogers. And Rogers put enough pressure on him to come up with the mistake.
Went from the dummy half. I mentioned the fact that Wigan was standing back in one line, but they do move forward. This is a real meal of it from Robinson. He knows it too. You take your opportunities in the game of rugby league football, and that's exactly what he's done. The idea was fantastic, but I'm afraid that Robinson couldn't prevent Eager. Well, they're showing their class at Castleford to come back.
Well, a try against Huddersfield last week for Michael Eager. It was his first in 5 games. That's try number 15 of the campaign. Now, Danny Orr would love to register goal number 75 of 1999. He just scrapes the wrong side of the posts. But Castleford will be happy enough with that, 6-4.
It's been a shaky start for the Tigers, and it will be some relief not only to the players but to the coach. No doubt that Rogers went for the football as well. Robinson, shock on his face. Nothing he could do about it.
No penalties, getting tackled.
So, deep kick-off. Castleford have got it back. Now then, let's get that news a little belatedly of Tony Smith. He has been replaced, I think, by Chris Chester. Bill?
Well, Tony Smith went into this game with a slight injury doubt. He hasn't lasted long. He made it plain to the touchline that it was a groin problem that has been troubling him for some time now. He signalled, and in fact he brought himself off before Wigan were ready to replace him with Chris Chester. And they had to send Tony Smith back on before Chester was ready. So Chester is out there now. Tony Smith, I don't think, is going to be able to take any further part of it. That certainly seemed to be his view. The news of Gary Connolly, who never started this game, is a bit more worrying. According to the Wigan medical team, he does have a neck injury, and they're going to get that checked by a specialist this week.
Thanks, Bill. Well, that'll be a huge blow to Wigan if Connolly can't play in these playoffs, if they prevail tonight. But it will also be a huge blow to Tony Smith that he's not out there now up against his former club.
Well, they certainly need his proteins. And to be fair to Clinch and Chester, when they were both signed from Halifax, they really have taken a long time to bed in here at the Wigan club. And they really have not played with the same vim and vigour that we saw last season when they were with Halifax. And it'll be interesting to see whether they can create something and apply the pressure against their opposites, Danny Orr and Brad Davis.
Just let me remind you again, oh, that's great play by Radlinski. The kick was charged down, but he managed to somehow retain possession, and what's more, he's got 6 more tackles here. So an opportunity now for Wigan once more. Farrell to Dennis Betts, but they were waiting for Betts as he collected that. Haaland and Sykes.
Good ankle tap as well from Aaron Raper, the Castleford hooker. Radlinski was well on his way, just tipped him.
Mark Smith to Chris Chester. Waited for Cassidy to arrive, and so did Davis and Raper. But Wigan inching their way towards that Castleford line. This is Clinch. Finds Betts, the try-scorer for Wigan. He's wrapped up by the try-scorer for Castleford, Michael Eager.
Tremendous tackle. Tremendous vision there by the centre, Eager.
Here's the kick from Clinch. It's a high, hanging, teasing one. Caught by Danny Orr. Bundled over it.
That was close.
By Johnson. Drop out coming up from underneath the Castleford sticks.
It's always a big gamble. It was a good kick, but it's always a risky piece of business of putting the ball through. We've seen it done. Alan Hunt this year did it at Headingley and presented the opposition with one of the simplest of all tries. It is a big gamble when you take the ball in the in-goal area and try to raise the arms out. But what a great kick it was.
It was a real teaser, wasn't it? Stuart Cummings, the referee, just waiting for the footballs and the water carriers to get off the field before restarting play. Time back on, drop out from under the sticks. Remember, the Wigan Warriors qualified for Old Trafford last year when they beat Leeds 17-4 over at Central Park, and they beat the Rhinos again in the grand final 10-4. It was simplicity itself 12 months ago for Wigan to get to Old Trafford. If ever beating Leeds is simple, but it's not so this year. They've got a long and rocky road ahead of them. Farrell, so have Castleford though if they get through this. This is a chance for Betts to get his second. Still going Betts, and pushed back into the field of play. Castleford stretched in defence. Chester, rather Clinch, onto Chester. Then the pass to Cassidy. And Cassidy looking to skirt around the outside, is hauled down.
Danny Hall, wonderful tackle. It had to be. Clinch with the kick. It's a poor one. The pressure is on.
Almost missed his kick, and Raper said thanks very much.
Came to nothing in the end. Well, it was a great build-up. Poor finish. Castleford will be relieved at that. The amount of possession that Wigan have had in these first 20 minutes, they really should have been looking for more points on the scoreboard than the 6 that they've got.
Wait for his foot.
Wigan enjoying the better of the possession in this first half. 22 minutes gone, as Steve-O said. The stats just confirming Steve-O's view. Meanwhile, Sampson's won the penalty from referee Stuart Cummings.
High shot from Clinch. See that? It was a left one. And he came right into his face. That was okay from Gilmore. But it was Clinch that came in, the third man. Well spotted by Stuart Cummings.
Well, Wigan, we all know about their championship credentials. Castleford are aiming to win their first ever title. They've been runners-up twice before and 30 years apart. 1939, 1969. How about a coincidence? 1999? I wonder. They have the confidence, they have the self-belief that this will be their year to go one better than runners-up. And this is Flowers. Gets the ball away to Rogers. Rogers then to Eager. Eager got away from Clinch. There's another football on the field. This is something they'll have to get to grips with at the new stadium.
3 tackles.
3 tackles to go, says Stuart Cummings. And Castleford in possession with all. Lovely ball, he finds Fritz, who steps round the corner. Raper's there, this is Davis, and Wigan having the devil's own job to put him down.
Get out,
Cassidy and Chester, try-saver yet again. Davis was set for the line.
Raper went to go one way, went the short side, or with a kick to in goal. Try for Vowles! Vowles has touched it down, but the referee will hand it on to the video ref.
Also check the grounding, please.
Onside? Nothing wrong with the grounding, although I think Cummings wants to have that checked also. But Adrian Vowles has scored here if he's onside.
Beautiful switch there by Raper. Or puts the kick through. Was he in front? That's what the video referee will be looking at. Let's wait for the contact. It seems okay. He's onside. This will be another TRY. What a wonderful move from Danny Orr. It was inch perfect. And what a season this guy is having, the skipper, Adrian Vowles. Nothing wrong with the touchdown. We'll be piecing together the three little letters. Well, amazing piece of kicking from Danny Orr. Yet again, he created the eager try. He's created the Vowles try, I'm sure.
Not given yet. The video referee has passed his decision on. Here it comes. The try is given. Castleford have weathered the early storm and they've hit the front. And Stuart Raper has seen his men bounce back from 6-0 down to an 8-6 lead.
What a season that boy is having. The Tiger fans, they cheer the switch from Raper. A planned move, it ricocheted. It got the best bounce, perhaps. Little bit of luck going Castleford's way, but take nothing away from the fact that both Orr and Vowles combined superbly. Into the hoardings. He won't mind.
Well, he got a try here against Wigan in April. I say here, I mean in the town of Wigan, over the way at Central Park. Stuart Raper's making his way down to the touchline, as he invariably does, with about a quarter of an hour and a half to go. And this kick from Danny Orr will stretch the Castleford Tigers' lead. From 6 down, the Tigers 10-6.
Beautiful way, did he put it right behind the sliding defence. Superb. Nothing that Danny Moore could do about that. He had to stay out wide, did Danny Moore, anticipating perhaps a long pass from Danny Orr, but it was the kick. Try number 2 to the Tigers. Both have come from the boots of Mr. Orr.
10-6 then, Castleford ahead against the champions. With 24.5 minutes to go, Wigan know they've got it all to do here tonight to survive in the playoffs cauldron of 1999. And you can say what you like about Stuart Raper. He steered Cronulla's juniors to the President's Cup in 1994 when they beat Easts in the grand final. Wigan's Gavin Clinch was in that side. 1995, the reserve grade grand finalists, they lost to Newcastle. 1996, they won the reserve grade grand final against Auckland. Stuart Raper has been down this road before.
Not only that, Eddie, remember the heartache at the semi-final stage at Headingley when the London Broncos picked them in injury time. And I'm sure that Stuart Raper has been drilling into his players that we have to get more composure, more passion.
Don't forget that Australian grand final next Sunday at 6 a.m. It's replayed at just after midday on Sky Sports 1. It's Melbourne Storm against St George Illawarra. What a fairy tale has happened in Melbourne this year. And St George Illawarra, of course, the merged club in Australia. Another new club, really. That's their first year. Fantastic stuff down under and being matched every inch of the way by the top 5 here in the UK.
Well played by the fullback. It was a neat little chip over the top. There's problems for the key man for the Tigers, Danny Orr. He's picked up a bit of a knock. He's in Disneyland at the moment. Danny Orr caught a real wallop.
Here's Dean Sampson taking on the littlest man in the Wigan side. Gavin Clinch, Andy Goodway. He's Castleford born and bred, incidentally, the Wigan coach. And he's making a note or two to say to his charges at half-time, which is 13 and a half minutes away. Vowles with the kick. Wonderful kick. And somehow it just stayed in the field of play.
Did he get his foot on the whitewash?
Not sure that he did. Robinson.
Great work there by Robinson. But I suspect he may have put his foot on the whitewash. Yeah, it was on.
He was a centimetre this right side of it, Steve-O.
How much do you need?
He was in the field of play. Now then, we've got more news on Tony Smith. Bill's downstairs.
It's a real mystery, Eddie, because Tony Smith came off indicating that he didn't reckon he could continue. He's then been into the dressing room and had a painkilling injection as Wigan spill the ball, and it's Chester there, the man who came on in place of Smith. But they were desperate to get Smith back on. He had a painkilling injection, came out with some strapping on, ran up and down the touchline a couple of times, and then came back shaking his head. I reckon Wigan want to get him back on. Tony Smith ain't so certain he's fit to go on.
Well, he knows how important it is if he does come back on. This is Danny Orr, who looks fit. Vowles! Oh, he was almost through there, and a good job that Clint stuck to him. Here's Orr again. Orr's running the show at the moment. Davis, long ball again to Maloney. Maloney was almost through. That was a good tackle back by Johnson, but Castleford have the penalty for the flop. Johnson completed the tackle. Chester came over and flopped.
Little doubt that it was a flop. Well, lack of composure yet again. Chris Chester, and he knows it too. It was great work by Paul Johnson. It looked for all the world that Maloney had the strength to get through. He dragged him down, and that man, Chester, came over the top. Didn't need it. It's applying more pressure to your teammates. He's shaking his head, but deep inside, he knows that he has transgressed.
Yes, Chester with the flop, he's penalised, and so it's an opportunity for Danny Moore to add further salt in the Wigan wound. Or with this kick. Simon Horton has been spotted by the Wigan public, and he's about to come on. Wigan needs some big guns here, because Castleford are giving them the fright of their lives. Danny Orr with this kick. Important this. Means that even with a try and a goal, Wigan wouldn't head Castleford. The flags tell you that that was a great kick from Danny Orr. And the flags are waving up the other end of the field as well, but they're yellow and black. They belong to Stuart Rafer's supporters behind the posts. Wigan 6, Castleford 12. And don't anybody tell those people that Castleford can't beat the champions here.
That really was a pressure kick. Pressure also on Andy Goodway, the Warriors coach. He knows it too.
There's no margin for error for him.
They've had all the possession. And this Castleford side, they have dug deep. They have bounced back.
Mark Smith, the hooker, has gone to be replaced by Simon Horton.
He wasn't too impressed either. Little hooker looked very dejected as he came down the sideline.
I assume that means that Cassidy will now play hooker for Wigan in the scrums.
Yep.
And Simon Horton, there he is, number 12, with the blue strapping round the left thigh. He's the man that Andy Goodway hopes might turn this tide, because at the moment it's flowing black and gold.
Well, he obviously wants a quicker play of the ball. He wants it to get away from the central position. That's the reason, perhaps, that Goodway has taken off Smith. Cassidy, quite adapted to the hooking role. He's no stranger to it. This is a 40-20, but it's such a big field, this.
Yes, it's long, it's wide, and we haven't seen one yet. Robinson's picked up, he's flicked the ball beautifully to Radlinski. Radlinski then to Danny Moore, but Danny Moore wasn't getting past Dale Fritz. Wigan struggling now to get out of their own half. Roared on by this crowd from Castleford. Goal spinkers come on. Thundered into the challenge there was Adrian Vowles. The first half possession has swung in Castleford's favour lately. It's now with Arrol. Here is Cowie. Over the halfway goes the big prop forward.
Went far too high on him. Good work there by Cowie. They needed someone to get the momentum going forward.
Cassidy to Gilmore and Betts, and as soon as he received that, Betts was clobbered by Sampson. Last tackle. Farrell will put the kick in, will he? No, they're running it wide. Chester hangs on, flicks it to Johnson. Johnson keeps the movement going. Back it comes to Radlinski. Radlinski now will kick.
Good pressure by Brad Davis. It's a good kick in the end. Well taken by the fullback. Fullback on fullback. Two of the finest in Super League. Radlinski really went into him. There's been some tough encounters out there. Listen to the noise. Maloney caused a beauty from Farrell. He looked up at Maloney and said, "Was that legal?" I think it was. What a great offload.
The ball goes back from Gay to Eager. Or was that a Wigan hand in there that punched the ball out? Well, it doesn't matter because Castleford have gained territory. Oh, great tackle by Lee Gilmore on Danny Orr.
Super stuff there.
Raper. Oh, under pressure from the flying boots of Chester. Got the kick in.
It's a good one too. They've turned the fullback around. How good is the chase? Oh, great tackle.
Well, Brad Davis stood his ground then against the tall, lanky figure of Danny Orr.
A lot of the Wigan players are slipping out there, especially Paul Johnson. He slipped earlier and lost the football at one point.
Steve-O, don't mention the drains again. I did once at Central Park and I think we got away with it.
As I said before, and I'll say it again, he's probably got the wrong studs on.
I know someone who'll agree with that view. Here now is Chester. On halfway, tops it back to Dennis Betts. He bounces off two, loses it, Dennis Betts. Castleford have got it back with Rafer.
I think they were fortunate there, Castleford. It appeared to me that that ball was deliberately knocked back when 2-on-1. Brad Davis there. There was a Castleford player on the legs. They were fortunate.
Oh, they've missed Eager. They've missed Eager, but they get back to him somehow. It was Robinson who got the tackle in. Rogers at dummy half, he gives it to Raper. Raper on it goes to Orr. He's looking for support, decides to take the tackle himself, 30 metres away from the Wigan line.
Bit of a problem there for Michael Eager. He made the half break, but he sort of twisted his ankle.
Dale Fritz was almost through, just clawed back by Cassidy. Fritz wants to get to his feet and play the ball quickly, does now to Bowles. Davis with a drop goal attempt, and Brad Davis is caught. Oh, I thought he'd scored it. The reaction from behind the post the other end indicated that this had sailed over.
Good position by Stuart Cummings. Just faded away to the left. Well, can they dig deep, Wigan? They need to. Brad Davis attempting the one-pointer.
Well, he remembers, Steve-O, that he kicked a drop goal in the win at Weldon Road earlier this year.
Well, he's a good coach, as Stuart Raper, and don't worry, he would have had that message sent out.
Do you know what he's been using as his motivation? He's had a tape from Australia of the year that Canterbury came from 5th and won the grand final down there. That's the message he has said to his players. It's not mission impossible. They can do this. Stuart Raper believes it.
Long way to go.
Well, after this 35 minutes, who would bet against them?
Still a long way to go, Eddie. And I've seen you put the marker on sides many a time. But to be fair, the Tigers are doing exactly that. They're living up to their name. They have. Oh, there's a mistake.
And Leeds who are waiting for the winners of this one, of course, next Friday at Headingley. Be able to see it on Sky Sports. This is Farrell. He was nearly through again.
No support, though. We're a little bit slow there, the other players.
Gilmore running flat, and he finds Horton. And Horton flicks it back. The movement continues. Johnson, brave run. Danny Moore it is, my apologies. Danny Moore to within 3 metres. Wigan want to get on with it quickly. He is clinched. Now Farrell. He's got Betts on his inside. Betts was clouted as soon as he received that.
What a tackle. Adrian Vowles, who else?
Goldspink, Cassidy, whip into the arms there of Johnson. Johnson keeps it going back to Chester. Chester looking for the opening.
He's lost it, Chester.
Here goes
what
Michael
a relief
Eager.
for the Tigers there. But what a big impact yet again from Adrian Vowles. He really puts himself about, but it was Vowles that came up with a vital tackle when Dennis Betts looks as though he was sailing for the line. What courage shown from both these sets of forwards, but that man has had an outstanding season.
Flowers on the run, and Adrian Vowles, 16 tackles already in this match.
It's amazing, you know, in Australia, they said it was
Lovely ball! That was from Maloney, out wide to Gay! Gay! Oh, he's turned it inside, Danny Orr's there! What a tackle and what a save by Horton!
But why did he pass the ball in the first place to nobody? He wasn't on the last.
He thought he was going out.
Yeah.
And he was.
My apologies to Richard Gay there, he was going to the whitewash.
Maloney's ball, though, to Richard Gay.
Superb. This is a cracking game.
It is. It's one end to the other, and here goes Gilmore now for Wigan. But he's on his own. Has to take the tackle in the end.
Again, no support from Wigan. Well, it's been a lacklustre second 20 minutes in this first half. He knows it too.
Andy Goodway, the Wigan coach, watching anxiously on. Knows his players are getting through, though, and, well, then just not putting the final pass together.
Not the option. He knows it. Paul Johnson is under a lot of pressure. And you can see there that Danny Moore had already come on the inside, so it was going to go to nobody in the end. Castleford came up with 3 early mistakes, but they've tightened that up. Wigan now, they've got the dropsies.
So 2 minutes of the first half remaining. It's head and feed at this scrum to the Castleford Tigers. Stuart Raper knows that history is beckoning him here tonight.
Well,
Flowers.
He'll want safety first, no silly passes. It's important that they go in with that lead to half-time.
No penalties.
They've only made 4 handling errors, but they've missed 14 tackles, Castleford. 8 all in that department for Wigan.
Well, it was a horror start for them, wasn't it? First 10, 15 minutes, they just couldn't get anything right. I think it was 7 minutes before they were actually in the Wigan half.
Yes, they had to take everything bar the kitchen sink that Wigan could throw at them. But then they bounced back, and haven't they bounced back? And Vowles taking on Goldspink and Cowie. Well, he lacks nothing in bravery, the Castleford skipper. Raper at dummy half. Sampson, what would he give for a marauding run and a try here tonight against Wigan and Andy Goodway?
Well, you can see that the Castleford forwards realising that the clock is ticking down. Neat pass on the inside.
Oh, Thompson.
Oh, wasted.
He flung it into the air. Betts flicked it back, though he didn't mean to. Radlinski tidies up, and here goes Robinson. Is this the moment for Robinson? Not at the moment.
Well, they'll be disappointed with that. Tonks trying to keep the ball alive when the more experienced Castleford forwards have just taken it one up, slowing it down. They want to hear the shooter badly.
Well, they've got 25 seconds remaining. Wigan can still strike from deep here. It's now with Chester. There's Gilmore. Gay with a swipe. And the referee will give the penalty for that.
Went high. It's a quick one. Oh, he's taking them back. The clock is ticking. Clinch says, let's get on with it. It's a good one, too. It was more of a grab on Gilmore. Either way, referee didn't like it. Surely it's got to be the big kick.
Well, this is the last chance of this first half. Clinch has put the ball into the air.
Too far.
Way far ahead of everybody. Gay has collected it. Now, irony of irony, I wondered whether Gay was going to launch the attack for a try on the bell for Castleford. Well, what a first half that was. Andy Goodway marches off the roof of the stand and will get into that dressing room and talk to his players. And Adrian Vowles has led by example. He's got a bit of a shiner under that left eye, but the Vowles try on 25 minutes gave Castleford the lead for the first time. And from that moment on, indeed from the moment when Eager went over for his try, Castleford grew in confidence. And they're full value for this half-time lead of 12 points to 6. Well, what a weekend we've got coming up for you next weekend on Sky Sports 1, when we have some of the greatest rugby league you could possibly wish to see. Leeds against Wigan or Castleford, the winners here going to Headingley in the playoffs of the Super League next Friday at 7. Then we have the Northern Ford Premiership Grand Final. Dewsbury will take on the Hunslet Hawks, who beat Widnes today by 10 points to 8. That's next Saturday at 6 o'clock. On Sunday morning at 6 a.m, the Aussie Grand Final, the National Rugby League of Australia draws to a close. Melbourne Storm against St George Illawarra, and then we round it all off next Sunday night at 6:30 at Odsal with Bradford Bulls against the Saints, and the winners there will make it through to the Grand Final at Old Trafford. Right now we have a match and a half on our hands. Wigan Warriors, the champions of 1998, up against the Castleford Tigers. The Tigers are 12-6 up at half-time, and they are hungry for it. There is no doubt about that. I wonder what is being said in that Wigan dressing room by Andy Goodway in the shirt sleeves there in the centre of your screen. No doubt the word pride is coming into it, because this is a champion team. Stuart Raper, his team are winning. Look at him, he's animated. His team are ahead by 12 points to 6. You would think they were 12-6 down. Fabulous match again here at the brand new JJB Stadium, and Castleford, well, they're on the verge of creating a little bit of history, but they've got 40 minutes yet to go. Now then, joining us here at the new stadium and watching is the Bradford Bull star Henry Paul, who has joined Steve-O and me on the gantry tonight to run the rule over these two sides. His old club, of course, the Wigan Warriors. Henry, impressed or not by Wigan's effort in that first half?
Well, I mean, there's still a long way to go. Obviously, they seem a bit nervous, and Castleford, their last 10 minutes got over their nerves, were able to chase kicks and show a lot of enthusiasm. Wigan, they're not out of it yet. I mean, there's still a long way to go. So, you know, my old club, that, you know, they've been there before, they've been in the trenches, they know how to come forward at the right times. With guys like Jason Robinson, Andrew Farrell, anything can happen.
Well, you can never ever write Wigan off. You would do that at your peril, but there is something to me strangely lethargic about Wigan. They're the champions, this is their new home. What's happened to them?
Well, I think both teams are lethargic. You can see why a lot of errors in their first 20 minutes. I don't know. You know, Wigan are the type of team that they can pounce at any time. So you got. I think Andy will be in the dressing room now, telling them just to keep composed. There's a long way to go. There's 40 minutes to go. I think the way that the field's sort of slippery out there, I think the kicks are going to play a big part in this game now. So, you know, obviously with their kicking game, Wigan, they'll be able to use it. So let's see what happens.
Yes, the kicking will be important. The studs that the players are wearing will also be important, obviously, as they keep their feet. But my word, I mean, this year, Castleford have won at Weldon Road. They've won at Central Park. For the first time in a decade, Steve-O, they've claimed a league double over the champions. What price the hat-trick now?
Well, it certainly looks that way, but it's a long way to go. 40 minutes, a lot can happen in that second half. And it looked as though it was going to happen all that way with Wigan. They had so much possession in the opening minutes that it looked as though Castleford, who came out very, very nervous, they dropped the ball on 3 occasions, but the one opportunity that they had early in that first half was the beautiful little pass. Look at that when he runs around. They thought that Raper was going to get it, but it was Haaland. And this man, Chris Radlinski, the Wigan boys, they are thankful they've got a fullback of such quality, Chris Radlinski, coming onto it. And then they had the opportunity, and this is where the mistake came. This was the third mistake from the Castleford forwards, and it looked as though the game was there for the taking. And when Betts came in, look at Farrell coming back on the angle. They left him, they kept the ball alive. As we mentioned in the commentary, Dennis Betts will claim that this is one of the best sidesteps he's produced. I think it was a slip. Either way, it confused the Castleford defence. Their pass masters at it. He's had a great game, this Paul Johnson. He won't throw the towel in, neither will the man who scored this try. It was a trip, Sampson couldn't do anything about it. And when Betts sailed in, it looked as though Wigan were going to take full control. Enter the arena, Mr. Danny Orr. Celebrations, but Danny Orr with the kicking game into the corner. What a mistake from Robinson. He went high, under pressure, didn't get the right amount of pressure to go over the dead in goal line. Eager did ever so well to get that, and it just had a hint that the Tigers were fighting back. Not only fighting back, but what a switch from the hooker Raper. And who else? Danny Orr. They get a little bit of a lucky bounce. It comes off Radlinski's leg. and sends it comes through. And look at that, Vowles, what a season this man has had. Adrian Vowles, not only does he lead by example, but he's having a fine match. We knew that it would be a keenly fought contest between Farrell and Adrian Vowles. Vowles perhaps just on top, but beware the wounded warrior. There's 40 minutes to go.
There is 40 minutes to go, but I would think, Henry Paul, you would have to take your hat off to Danny Orr. His kicking game as a fellow standoff, you know, absolutely out of the top draw tonight.
Yeah, well, both halves seemed to be quiet in their first 20. Like I said, they got back into it. They were willing to put something up, put it out there, tease the Wigan defence, go fishing really. And when you got a good chase, kick and chase is all important. They were lucky to get a couple of runners coming through. Confidence is high now, so Castleford, you know, they'll be willing to take this next 42 Wigan now.
Yes, it's a big 40 minutes that's coming up. Henry, I think I'm right in saying you've won a Sky Sports Viewers Man of the Match competition, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been lucky from Tisto. They've picked the right man on the night.
There you go. Well, so Henry has won a watch, and who's going to be the Man of the Match tonight who will go home with the trinket on his arm? This is the prize that they will collect, and it's actually going to whoever you at home choose and who the losing coaching team choose as well. It's the Man of the Match competition. The viewers, you have your say. 0660 10 10 13. 20 minutes of the game remaining. Predict who the losing coaches will choose as the Man of the Match. 2 grand final tickets for you, the watch for the player, and all winners into the draw to win that box at Old Trafford on the big night. 0660 10 10 13 with about 20 minutes remaining. So who'll be Man of the Match? Who'll be off to Old Trafford? Will it be the Bulls? Will it be Wigan, Leeds? And, well, you could pick anyone from 5 at the moment, because this playoff series could go any which way. We've got 40 minutes remaining here at the new JJB Stadium, though, and Wigan are behind the 8 ball. They're trailing 12 points to 6 at half-time. The Tigers, they're roaring at the moment. Well, still to come live tonight on Sky Sports. Over on Sky Sports 2 from 7:30, it's snooker, the final of the British Open. On Sky Sports 3 from 9 o'clock, live NFL. Kansas City Chiefs take on the Denver Broncos. And on Sky Sports Extra now, Spanish football, Celta Vigo against Rayo Vallecano. And I hope I pronounced that right. But there is Dave Whelan, who is the owner of this magnificent stadium and is the owner of this magnificent rugby league team. It must be a very, very proud night for him that the Wigan Warriors have finally come to their new home. But it won't be a memorable night for him unless his team claw their way out of jail in this second half. They're trailing by 12 points to 6. It's a massive 40 minutes that lies ahead for the champions of 1998. But equally so, a huge 40 minutes for the Castleford Tigers. And Castleford with first use of the football in this second half. Wigan will be hunting the mistake early on here.
Well, I'm sure that Stuart Raper, the Castleford coach, would have got it across to his players that if you get anywhere near those Wigan posts, let's go for the 1 point. Psychologically, it will lift them, and it may just be enough to upset the Wigan side. It'll be interesting to see how they perform in the opening set of 6.
Well, Castleford will remember 2 years ago, they were in the Premiership that year. They just avoided relegation. They went to Halifax and won. And then to the champions, the Bradford Bulls, and won before they lost to St Helens. So they are no strangers to big results at this stage of the season. And at the moment, they've got a massive result going their way. Maloney has picked up a bang there as he went for Radlinski. He was hit by Richard Gay. Got a bang in the ribs. Wigan still have the football with Paul Johnson. He gets to his feet and Cassidy's a dummy half. Here goes Goldspink. He went through Dean Sampson, but he couldn't get through the second line of defence.
That's what the Wigan forwards need more of as well. They've got to try to make this half break. But the disappointing thing for me by the Wigan players in that first half was the inability to support the man carrying the football. There was a couple of half breaks where they could have offloaded, but there was nobody there.
Wigan look as though they have tried to up the tempo right at the start of this second 40. The little grubber kick from Farrell is collected inevitably by Danny Orr. Danny Orr takes the tackle from the big man, Simon Horton, and Gavin Clinch was all over his back. Let's get the news from the dressing rooms at half-time. Bill?
Well, that first kick from Wigan in this half will probably not have pleased coach Andy Goodway, because he's looking for an improvement in the kicking game. I don't think he looks particularly happy there, and he's looking for a better all-round performance, in fact, from this second 40. More completion, fewer mistakes, and not allowing Castleford the room to play. The Tigers pretty satisfied with that first 40 minutes, certainly after they'd weathered the Wigan storm early on. But one area Stuart Raper really wants to see an improvement is their kicking game. Let's see how Danny Orr does. That's not the improvement they were looking for.
Out on the full, so the ball will come back and it will be the turnover. Wigan will get possession and they're just about 40 metres away from the Castleford line.
Well, Billy put the mocker on them then. But the problem, though, by the Tigers, they missed 15 tackles in that first half. They've got to tighten that up as well. We all know the power and the strike power that this Wigan side have.
So Wigan with a glorious opportunity to register points early. Radlinski to Farrell on the charge on the diagonal. Castleford were alert to that particular danger.
Didn't play it.
Oh, well, hands in by the Castleford player.
Now, surely they'll take the 2 points on offer. Only 6 points astray.
And he will, he's indicated.
Well, I think he just lost it, but some sort of interference before then, there it is. Just enough to upset the Wigan skipper.
Lee Harland, the culprit. So, this should be easy enough for Andy Farrell, as Lee Harland, former under-21 international, just reflects on his mistake. It was spotted by the referee. Farrell, 6 goals against Wakefield, 4 goals against St Helens. The last Wigan man to score at Central Park. All right, it wasn't a try, but Andy Farrell's name goes into the history books as well. And those brand new posts, they're made of aluminium, they tell me. Dissected by the football, kick from the boot of Andy Farrell. Wigan get back to within 4 points. Important kick that, because a converted try, and Wigan now will hit the front.
That's a lift that they were looking for, though you wouldn't notice it, would you, on the face of Andy Goodway. He knows the capabilities that this Castleford Tiger outfit have.
Well, they played 15 games under him. They've won 11, drawn 1, and they've only lost away at Castleford, Gateshead, that was at Edinburgh, and Leeds. But significantly, they lost at Castleford. And in many ways, with this being Wigan's first match at this new stadium, it is being played on the neutral ground.
They've only trained here twice, so they're really unusual surroundings for both sides.
If you're talking about neutral grounds, by the way, Wigan have played Castleford in 5 major games in neutrality, and they have won 4 out of 5. So the gods and the history books on Wigan's side, but at the moment, Castleford ahead by 12 points to 8. Finished 5th in the table, Wigan finished 4th. If either of these two sides have ambitions of getting to Old Trafford, they have to do it the tough way. After tonight, all away from home.
It's all sudden death for either of these sides. Clinch tried for the 40-20, too short. This will be head and feet to the Tigers. An important role he has to play, Gavin Clinch, especially now that Tony Smith has left the field. He really has to start combining with his skipper, Andrew Farrell. They are the architects that can provide the springboard for this Wigan outfit. They're still trailed by 4.
Great tackling there by Radlinski and Horton on Michael Eager, and he felt that. It's all building up, of course, to the grand final at Old Trafford on October the 9th. We saw the first shots Friday. We're seeing second shots here in the playoffs tonight. Any other information you want about grand final at the Theatre of Dreams, 0113 244 treble 14. The game kicks off at 6:30. They'll give you any other information you need at Super League Europe headquarters first thing in the morning. And I wonder which match we'll be looking forward to at Headingley next weekend. Will it be Leeds Wigan or Leeds Castleford? Val. Eager was dummy half. He gave it to Flowers, the fullback, local boy, Jason Flowers. The 150th game of his career at Huddersfield last week. Here now is Ian Tonks. Tonks to drive it in within 10 metres.
Sure little drive for the sticks.
Davis switches the direction of the attack to Orr. And Orr will float the ball looking for Rogers again. Rogers out wide. It bounced off Robinson this time and bounced dead. Drop out from underneath the posts. Robinson thinks he was taken out while he was airborne.
Looks bemused. Yep, definitely came off Robinson. The big factor there, of course, did Darren Rogers go for the man? No, he was going for the football. This will be the dropout. It needs to be a big one as well from the skipper. It is.
Good length. Just over halfway. Flowers will collect and run it back. Good chase there, led by Gilmore and also Gavin Clinch, who's caught a bang on the head.
Well, that surprised me. They went for the option of kicking into the corner. I would have thought that more value would have been that 1 point.
Here's Dale Fritz. His arrival at Weldon Road has done so much this year.
He's a workhorse, isn't he?
Him and Raper, who just passed the ball there to Davis. On it goes to Vowles. Good ball then to Eager. Eager's tackled out of it by Robinson. Great defence from the little wing.
Covered him all the way across. Not much space to do the run-around move like that. You see how Rogers came in off the wing, tried to upset the winger, hoping that Robinson would have gone inside. He didn't.
We've mentioned the mythical Dream Team all night, Steve-O. There is the only man to have made all 4 Dream Teams since 1996. Neil Cowie was in it last year. He's gone off. This is Lee Gilmore, who was last year's Young Player of the Year. And that's Paul Johnson, but Castleford are caught offside at the play of the ball.
Mr. Cummins having none of it. He wants an open game, so do we. Farrell, big boot, gets on with it quickly as possible.
So Cassidy will restart and he finds Clinch. Clinch then on to Goldspink. And the big Aussie drives it in, but Sampson is there. And so too was Lee Harlan. Cassidy, dummy half to Chester. On it goes then to Farrell, who's all over the place at the moment, Andy Farrell. Every which way that Wigan are attacking, Farrell is at the heart of it. Here now is Tony Mestrov. He's wrestled to the ground by this Castleford defence. They're still pretty keen. Can they keep Wigan out? Farrell, little half break. Where's the support? There eventually from Cassidy. Spread wide to Chester. Looping pass into the arms of Radlinski, who's chimed in. Here's Simon Horton. Good defence from Castleford.
But there again you saw Andrew Farrell looking for someone to be running onto the pass. He came eventually. Oh, that's a bad one, but it wasn't a knock-on.
And it's come back to Moore. And Danny Moore almost through. Held up 2 metres short. Cassidy's there at dummy half. Wigan have got a chance here if they spread it wide. It's with Farrell. Oh, it's off the chest of Betts.
What a missed opportunity, and he knows it. The experienced second rower, Dennis Betts.
It was up round his shoulders, in fairness to him. No, it wasn't.
It was a good pass. It was delayed a bit forward anyway, perhaps. He delayed it too long. Well, a chance gone begging. The combination for so many years, Andrew Farrell and Dennis Betts.
Fancy the tension will be getting to Andy Goodway as well. 10.5 minutes into the second half, his team's still trailing. Because they're pretty ruthless these days, aren't they? The people who run the clubs in Super League, and if Wigan don't make it to Old Trafford in the grand final, that could be seen, Steve-O, in some quarters as abject failure.
Without doubt. If they go out tonight, they won't have a lot of praise showered upon them. They're so used to having silverware down Wigan way.
1984, the last year they haven't won silver.
It's a wonderful record, isn't it? Quite outstanding.
And hold, fellas.
You'd have to put them in the same category as the great St George size in the 60s.
Good chip over the top and a chase. Danny Moore has picked it up, but he had to run back towards his own line, and the Castleford cavalry then arrived.
Well, that'll be a bit of a relief there for Stuart Raper, the Tigers coach, because the kicking game in the second half has been astray. And that sort of tackling, that's what they need to try to force the error.
Gilmore now for Wigan, tackled by Rodgers. Stuart Raper, he's, I'm sure, boiling underneath that exterior. The ball went backwards. Oh, Horton gave himself up then.
He stopped.
He did. He looked at the referee as much as to say, oh, well, you caught me. And Stuart Cummings says, went backwards, play on. Much to the annoyance of the Castleford public.
Well, he took his eyes off the football and then he finished up in front of him.
Give him 10, stay. Hold the 10.
Flowers will collect.
Good thinking by the fullback there. Took no gamble whatsoever. It was bouncing all over the shop with the ball.
Rodgers, up the middle goes Rodgers. That was a good tackle, low down by Mestrov.
Had to be as well, there was no one at home. Rydlinski was in the full line of defence. That's
Vowles has dropped
play
it.
on. That's a knock-on. They'll play the scrum. Head and feed to Wigan.
Yes, Brad Davis, and Vowles acknowledges the mistake. Davis got a hand to it and knocked the ball forward.
That's legal, and that's the knock-on. Good work. It was a good hit, wasn't it, by Betts?
Was it a little left uppercut from Dennis Betts on the football?
Maybe he was just going for the ball.
Robinson now. Always danger when this fella has it, and Darren Rodgers knew it. He lost it. The ball went back, though. And they will continue the movement here with Gilmore. Rodgers struggling to get back in defence again.
He's having a while the game, is Gilmore. He's really putting himself around.
So's this fellow, Farrell. Almost through the gap. It was closed immediately by the two defenders. Paul Johnson's dummy half. Goes down the short side. He's on his own here, Johnson. Lost out to sheer weight of numbers then. Cassidy will surely spread it back the other way, and he does. Via Chester to Clinch. Clinch pops it up into Goldsmith. He puts it down. There's a lot of lost football in this match. Both sides.
Big impact again. Was it pulled out by Tonks? Pretty hard to see either way. Another chance gone begging for Wigan.
Ian Tonks, by the way, playing his 50th appearance for Castleford tonight. Manu got that tackle in. Here he is again. Bounced off Cassidy. Cassidy stuck to him, and with help from Horton, he's pulled down.
So demoralising for any side to flitter away the chances.
They're fiddling and faffing in their own half of the field, Castleford, and they've surrendered the football again. Here's Cassidy. Now it's with Farrell. Farrell back to Robinson. And Robinson, one of those typical runs of his, flicks it then to Radlinski. Moore's come back on the overlap. Good defence, though, from Castleford. They're watching this Wigan attack like hawks. Mestrov. Or again. Cassidy. Clinch. Farrell. Robinson. Cut down again by Orr. Penalty in front of the sticks.
They'll take the 2 points on offer.
Bound to.
You can see
Dale
this.
Fritz appealing to the referee.
Well, are they going to commit suicide, this Tiger outfit?
Well, Wigan are just chipping and chipping and chipping away at them.
Well, I think Robinson milked that. And that's the reason why Dale Fritz perhaps is appealing to it. I think Robinson deliberately threw himself down, maybe just to the touch with a knee. Either way, they won't mind, he will.
Stuart Raper's on his walks again. He's seen enough from on high. He's going to come down, and as he makes his way down, he knows that Farrell has added 2 more points to the Wigan total, and they're getting ever closer to Castleford. The champions 10, the Tigers 12.
Well, they'll be ruining the fact, will the Castleford side, the replay, good connection from the skipper. But surely they must be ruining the fact that they're giving away these penalties and not taking the chance there. Little doubt in my mind that Robinson has milked that. Stuart Raper looking concerned.
Well, you're right, but I mean, Dale Fritz shouldn't have put a hand on him. Robinson was getting to his feet to play the ball. Andy Goodway.
He just wanted to confirm the obvious. Sudden death football. You don't get many smiles from the coaches.
Only on the full-time siren, and that's a long way away. Well, Brad Heppy is on now, so all the big guns are out there for Castleford. Heppy, Pickering, Tonks, Vowles, they're all there. Fritz, the men who can be match winners. So too, though, for Wigan, and here's Goldspink. Chased down by Heppy, and Goldspink makes good yards. Looking for another penalty. Mestrol, hauled down by Vowles.
Who else?
Pickering there as well. Cassidy, back to Farrell. Remember Andy Farrell's face at Old Trafford last October. It was joy to behold, and he's desperate to get back there again, he said in the papers this morning. But Castleford are anxious to be there as well.
They won't get that trophy away without a fight, I can assure you.
Great kick, that from Clinch. He's after Robinson. Robinson's herring after this. Rogers has picked it up. Good chase.
Whoa!
Well, it came off. Rogers' pass to Flowers came off.
Must have been half an inch away from a Wigan player's hand. They were testing fate there. They've certainly upped the tempo up to the Warriors this second half.
They have noticeably. Richard Gay trying to dance out of trouble. Castleford hanging around behind him, just almost holding a board meeting there, getting themselves set. This is Tonks again.
Well, there's far too much time left for the Tigers to be hanging on just to the 2-point lead. They've got to be a little bit more adventurous. Offside.
Offside against Wigan.
Oh, high shot.
Head high, he says, on James Pickering. Quick tap taken by Raper. Raper's got them on the back foot. He flicked it then to Davis. Davis disappears.
Cassidy, shot on Heppy on the head.
Vowles couldn't get away from Betts and Clinch. Well, it's our first look at this new stadium. It's a great atmosphere inside as Pickering takes it into the 20-metre zone for Castleford. Here now is Heppy. Heppy to Flowers. Castleford now inching their way towards the line. Penalty to Castleford under the sticks. Dennis Betts protests innocence. Stuart Raper will have none of it. Stuart Cummings will have none of it. Stuart Raper will have plenty of it.
Well, to be fair to the official, Mr. Cummings has pegged both sides for interference at the play of the ball after the man has been tackled, and you can see there that Dennis Betts, the rule states that once you've made the tackle you must roll away as quickly as possible. Concern in the Wigan camp.
And why not? It's going to be 14-10 in a moment. Fantastic atmosphere in this stadium then. Let's find out what it's like at pitchside. Bill, have you got your earplugs in?
Central Park was noisy. This is noisier still, I think, Eddie. It's just so enclosed that the atmosphere roars around. And I tell you what, from those Tiger supporters, they'll really raise the roof at their end of the ground. No wonder this club has won Club of the Year in the Super League Marketing Awards. They've done a great job. They're here to support their side. And at the moment, they're liking what they're seeing.
They like it even better if Danny Orr slots this over. He should. He's bang in front. Look where he is. And there's his fans behind them. If they all suck in there together, the ball will go across with no problem. And it does. 14 points to 10. I must tell you, every time that a point is scored here at this new stadium, we've got the massive scoreboard that is within the ground behind us. It's like they've set off fireworks.
It certainly is, and it explodes at the back of those sticks, right over the black dot. He knows that it's important. He could not watch, but he knew when he heard the roar from all the Cas supporters behind those sticks. A tense time now for both sides.
It is. We're in the last quarter of the match, and Castleford are ahead by 4. Wigan 10, Castleford 14. 20 minutes to go. Who is on the way to Headingley next weekend? And what's more, who is on his way to the grand final?
Well, the introduction of the big fellas, James Pickering, Brad Heppy.
It's Dewsbury Hunslet, by the way, next Saturday at 6 o'clock in the Northern Ford Premiership Grand Final at Headingley. That's the day after we're there for Leeds and the winners of this one. So they've got a busy weekend at Headingley too.
Great position there by Chris Radlinski. Raper went on the diagonal run and then cut the ball back, and Radlinski read it perfectly.
Danny Orr's been all over this field tonight for Castleford. He's got to be a contender, I would suggest, for man of the match. 0-6-0, 10-10-13.
Another tackle from him. They know how important this game is to them.
Well, you could be on the way to the grand final if you come up with the correct name for man of the match. Will either of these two be on the way to Old Trafford for the grand final? There's a lot of work to be done here in 19 minutes before we even talk about grand final. But the sands of time are ticking away for the Wigan Warriors.
Oh, good pressure applied there, not the best kick.
I wonder who's got the biggest ticker now, Steve-O, as far as this game is concerned.
Well, I was about to say that Stuart Raper, the change in bring on the big fellas, Pickering and Heppy, is that they go down the middle now and then go for the 1 point. It's been a real tussle in the second half.
Well, it's a great match to watch, this.
Oh, what a mistake. The big fellas offloaded Pickering. It went to ground. Cassidy, quick to seize on that. Well, that's been disappointing for Stuart Raper. That was not in his plot. Impossible position. Raper didn't realise that Cassidy was coming to him. Completes the tackle, tries to get him through.
Well, it's a different match, isn't it, Steve-O, compared to Friday? I mean, this is sudden death. There's not the finesse, maybe, that we saw from St Helens. But my word, it absolutely shreds your nerves watching it. I don't know what it must be like to play in it or coach it.
Well, both defences have been moving up extremely quickly. And the Castleford tries, remember, they've come from the boot.
Farrell with the sliding kick through. Difficult one for Flowers to pick up, but he does, the young full-back.
And because of that kicking game, gives you some indication how difficult it has been to get through either defence. We never expected a high-scoring match.
Jason Flowers has had a great season, hasn't he? And no less than Johnny Raper, Stuart's father, suggested that Jason Flowers should be, in his opinion, as an Australian selector, the Great Britain #1. I don't know whether he'd seen Chris Radlinski. 20 missed tackles by Castleford. How on earth are they 14-10 up?
It's amazing, but remember, 15 of those came in the first half. But it must be a worrying factor. Still 5 in this second stanza.
Good kick by Danny Orr. That will stay within the field of play.
There's the chasers. It's good.
And Moore is met by the kicker, Danny Orr. He's had a blinder tonight.
Running himself to a standstill.
Well, are we going to see the end of the champions? If Robinson has anything to do with it, maybe not.
Nearly got away there from Rodgers. Bounced down by the loose forward, Adrian Vowles.
As the game progresses towards full-time, this Wigan side will get more and more desperate.
Well, both sides are looking very tired. It's been a physical battle out there.
Cassidy.
And that's where the mistakes come. That's where you get a little bit slow getting into the line of defence. Half gaps appear.
Last one for Wigan, and they're on the halfway. Farrell with the kick between Rodgers and Flowers. That's a great kick too. And Rodgers just flicked at it, so it's game on. And here goes Darren Rodgers now. Great run from the Castleford winger.
That really does lift the spirits. And Rodgers saying, what about the penalty? Took an eternity there.
Mestrov flies into the tackle, and the touch judge is on, and the referee blows the whistle, and Mestrov's going to be penalised here.
Well, if he's put in a swinging shot, and he has made no contact. He's gone down with the elbow
and he got him with the elbow as well.
Well, this is just foolish play.
Flowers saw it coming and ducked, didn't he? He couldn't see that one, though.
You don't deserve to win a game when you come away with cheap shots like that.
You've got to keep that out of him, okay?
He knows it too, does Andy Goodway. Lack of composure has lost them 30, maybe 40 metres downfield. Just completely lost the plot as the prop forward.
So, Stuart Raper asking a question of someone on the sideline. And his team now asking the questions of the champions of '98. And they've got another penalty. And is it Mestrov again? No, this time it's Terry O'Connor.
Now then, do they go for the 2 point? It's a fair way out. They just held him down, that's all.
Well, the referee says and is indicated with the swinging arm.
Well, I never saw it.
Nice, mate, second 10.
Well, they've gone for the power option.
There it is. Little slap. Tonks. Good drive again.
A that slap wouldn't hurt a fly, would it? Seriously.
Castleford ahead on penalties and ahead on the scoreboard. Chances here. They're in, are they? No. Great defence and he's in touch.
Superb defence.
Jason Flowers thought he was over the line, but from somewhere a red and white Exocet hit him full in the middle. Radlinski.
That was fantastic stuff by the fullback. Well, they went for the power option rather than go for the long kick for 2 points. But without that man, Radlinski, remember, he pulled off a magnificent try-saver in the first half on Lee Harlan, but it looked as though Castleford was surging over for their first try. And he saved them yet again.
Well, Radlinski loves Old Trafford. Remember, he came of age with a hat-trick in the Premiership final. In fact, you know, Wigan have been to Old Trafford every year for the past 7. Every year they have made the journey to Manchester and the Theatre of Dreams. But at the moment, they're trailing by 4.
Oh, 40-20, will it bobble?
No, there's some width on this pitch. Rodgers has picked it up. Robinson was after him, he gets away from Robinson. What a run again from Rodgers. Tackled by Cassidy Half, finished off by Chester, and also Dennis Betts. And when he scored that try early in the first half, Dennis Betts must have thought that this was to be Wigan's night. It still might be. Remember, 4 points in it. Trying a goal and Wigan are ahead. Trying a goal and Castleford will think that this really is their night.
Well, both sides are starting to fall off the tackler.
Well, it's on a knife edge, this. Tonks! Great run from the Castleford sub.
They really are getting tired, Eddie.
Danny Orr applies the brakes, but Gavin Clinch had stuck to him like glue. That's the last for Castleford. They'll hoist the kick surely with Davis. And they do, and the chase is on, but Perry is way offside out wide.
It's be a penalty. He shouted out to him. Well, Danny Orr said I put them all onside because I kicked it.
Well, he didn't, it was Davis.
That's what he was trying to call the referee. And in the heat of the moment, you never know, but you can see there, that's wonderful refereeing by Stuart Cummins. He shouted to the players, leave him, they didn't. Irrespective of whether Radlinski took the ball or not, it was always going to be a penalty.
Well, the tension of this match now is there for all to see. You can almost touch the atmosphere here at the JJB. We've got 10 and a half minutes to go, and Wigan looking to come from behind to claim another step on the road to Old Trafford. In possession here with Gavin Clinch. Now the captain Farrell. On it goes to Radlinski. Radlinski keeps the movement going. Somehow Chester held on to that. Gave it then to Horton. And Horton's grounded by Davis. Never played that properly. He was on all fours. Referee says play on. Maybe it would have been a Wigan penalty. Clinch has found a gap. Clinch gets to it in 10. That's the last. Cassidy is at dummy half. Have Wigan got anything here? It's with Farrell. Farrell floats it wide to Horton. Horton trying to go through all the tacklers, but Maloney stuck to him like glue.
Well,
and Andy Goodway is furious up top.
And so he should be. They've gone for the power play instead of the kick. It went through the hands of the skipper, Andrew Farrell. Now, Simon Horton, he's not noted for offloading the football. And Farrell had every opportunity to put in a kick there. And that was the reason we saw the shot, Andy Goodway. And I can assure you, that is a man that's a little bit upset.
Well, he will be, because, believe me, he is under as much pressure as these Wigan players.
Play on.
Happy. Nathan Sykes, rather, was the first man to Radlinski. Wigan are turning the screw. Great tackling again. Danny Orr. How many times have we said that tonight? Johnson driving it in at the middle.
Got to be careful not to give away the penalty. They were trying to milk it.
Mestral.
Wigan are on the run. Oh, he led with the elbow then. Vowles felt it too.
Well, 2 points no good to Wigan. They want 4 and 6. Good ball back on the inside from Clinch.
Great tackle from Davis too. They're under pressure, the Tigers.
Here's Clinch again. Slides the kick through. Radlinski's after it. Collides with the post. Coolest man is Brad Heppy. And Heppy's walked away with the football. Well,
what a wonderful kick.
Was that?
What a wonderful kick. Well, the post denied Radlinski. If it had been a straight ball, he would have scored. And he hit the post. That was the idea, to try to confuse the defence. But in the end, it went against Wigan.
And both coaches are feeling the pressure.
That's
4 points in it. The clock ticking down for Wigan. Sampson with the drive upfield. That's the last. They've only made 39 metres. They're still inside their own half. Raper. It bounces off the back of Johnson. Was he offside? Surely he was, the Wigan man. Surely Chester was offside then.
Well, he's obviously played on because it was an accidental situation, but surely he could have put the scrum down. He was stood in front. Well, he's given them the benefit of the doubt of Stuart Cummings. Either way, Wigan roll forward. Can they absorb it yet again? They've been put under so much pressure to the Tigers' defence in the second half.
Yes, the last quarter of an hour has been relentless by Wigan. Big hit on Danny Moore, but he just bounces off Richard Gay and offloads to Betts. Wigan will come again. Farrell, bullet of a pass to Clinch. Radlinski wanted it and got it almost through, releases it again, and Rodgers picks up.
What great work by Adrian Vowles. Not only did he get the tackle in, it ricocheted so hard, the fullback lost the ball. Wonderful work by the Tigers skipper. He has played his part, but what a game this has been. Nobody's leaving.
Here's Maloney. Tackled by Johnson. Look at the clock, less than 7 to go. Gay, tackled again by Paul Johnson. Raper, inside it goes to Sampson, taking on Cassidy head to head.
He knows what's needed. He's going forward to those sticks.
Kicking one tackle early was Davis. Wonderful kick. Wonderful kick from Brad Davis. Turned them round. Was on the 4th tackle, that.
Good thinking, and that's what the coach is saying. Use your brains. And that's what that man did, Davis. 4th tackle, you can see there that Robinson's out of position. On the 5th, they normally go back.
And Castleford are plodding to this scrum, I can tell you that. And the referee is still yet to call time off. And David Miles, Andy Goodway's assistant, wants him to do that, call time off. Well, Stuart Raper, when I spoke to him yesterday, he was absolutely cool as a cucumber. He said, look, if I get worked up about these playoffs, what chance do my players have?
I'd like to see the butterflies that's going on inside his stomach.
Oh, it must be awful now. The tension must be unbearable. It's bad enough up here, and we're neutral.
And then on the situation of something quite outstanding, to beat Wigan 3 times in the season.
Not many can claim that. But Castleford have claimed nothing yet in terms of that statistic. They've still got 5 minutes plus. And Wigan coming forward with Farrell. Here's Dennis Betts. Every time they make a hut, he's lost.
Play on.
The referee's given them the penalty.
Tackle complete, that's the reason. It was 1-on-1. Mr. Raper, not too impressed. See, Egan nearly got it away anyway, but then he said the tackle was completed. He's probably right, as the official, Stuart Cummings.
Steve-O, are we on extra time, do you think, tonight? Do you think we're on time and a half after the 80?
Well, I'll need a lozenge soon.
Here's Clinch. Back it goes to Farrell. Let's just nip down to Bill quickly.
Adrian Vowles being brought off the pitch as a matter of urgency. They can't get him off. Vowles is still out there. He's got cramp, I think. He went down after that last Wigan tackle. And it's going to be John Wells who's coming on, but Vowles is still on there. But he really, I don't think he can contribute an awful lot more to the Castleford cause at the moment. He's coming off now.
It's on the other side of the field where Adrian Vowles goes off and replaced by John Wells. Wigan are coming forward again with Goldspink. Heavy stood tall then.
Can they hang on?
33 tackles from Adrian Bowles. That's why he's got a bit of cramp. The kick through was watched every inch of the way by Rodgers, and surely now Castleford will shove it up the jumper. There's first touch for Wells.
That's all that's needed. We keep mentioning the fact that the best option is to get behind the defence with a kick. What a fight this has been.
It's been a struggle, hasn't it? It really has. This, remember, Wigan's is the best defence in the game. But Castleford have got the third best defence in the game, and you can see why with the scoreline there. Danny Orr again.
Outstanding. But they can't relax 1 minute. Wigan have the power, we know that.
They can strike from anywhere, and can they here with Horton? Almost through Fritz, but not away then.
This is where
next man in.
Andrew Farrell must start taking control there. They've been using Clinch as the first man nearly all the time.
Betts.
But this is where Andy Farrell should say, get out of the way, let me try something.
Robinson, Cassidy, here's Farrell. Now it's with Chester. There's Horton. That touched by a Castleford hand. It's going to be 6 to go. Wigan are running it with Cowie. Here's Cassidy. Cassidy again. Robinson steps out of the challenge from Raper. Radlinski. Radlinski, hold down. Jason, no, Richard Gay with the tackle.
What a try saver.
Robinson again. Gavin Clinch. Gavin Clinch. Flowers this time. They're coming back towards the sticks. Robinson. Back it goes to Chester, not the best pass. Here's Radlinski. They've lowered it out wide. Cassidy up the middle. This is now
Chester the shoulder.
Chester over the shoulder, and Danny Orr picked it up off the ground. Was that the moment when Wigan bow out?
Chester, he gambled with it. It's at a point where they know they've got to do that. But they came up trumps with the football. They were stretched there. They had to soak up so much punishment. They've done that so well in this second half.
Raper gets the ball away to Heppy. Less than 2 minutes to go. Heppy will hang on. That's the last.
He's made a big impact since he's been out there. This kick has to be good, and Raper makes sure that it is.
He finds touch, and look at him. One set more, says Aaron Raper. His brother Stuart on the line. He can hardly bear to watch. Andy Goodway knows that his champions have got 90 seconds to save their season. Castleford plodding to the scrum again. Referee calls time off. Castleford supporters are on their feet. The 1999 Club of the Year against the 1998 champions, and it's all down to the next 1 minute and 20 seconds. A big kick for Robinson to chase.
He got taken out, did Robinson. This will be interesting. Will the touch judge come on?
And Wells gets the ball back into the field of play, does he? No. It's a drop down underneath the six.
Well, the kick from the scrum.
He grounded it behind the line.
And Robinson, this is the kick. Watch for Robinson. Chester got the big hoof. And Robinson was taken out.
Well, this now is the last hurrah.
Watch for Robinson. They definitely go for him. Bang, deliberately taken out. He was screaming at the referee, Stuart Cummins, who was barely a metre away from the incident.
Wigan's last chance. Cowie has lost it. That could be it. Castleford are going to march on here if they hang on to the football for the next 30 seconds.
What a time to come up with a mistake.
This is eager.
You can see how their heads went down. They shake their heads up there in disbelief.
Andy Goodway knows it's over.
The first play the ball, and the big fella coughs it up.
Well, Horton shouldn't do things like that. John Wells on his knees. 5 seconds to go. Sampson will hold it up. There's the siren. Castleford have won. Stuart Raper's done it again. The champions are out. Wigan are out of the 1999 Super League playoffs. to the Castleford Tigers. A remarkable, remarkable win for Castleford. Wigan are out. The champions are gone in 1999. Unbelievable scenes at the JJB Stadium, Wigan's new home. It's not a happy hunting ground for Wigan. Beaten at the first hurdle. Stuart Raper has won 3 times against Wigan in 1999. This, though, the most important. What a fantastic result for the Castleford Tigers. For Wigan, well, the inquests will go on and on and on. But Andy Farrell's dream is over for another year. The champions bow out at the first hurdle in 1999. And Andy Farrell looks at the scoreboard and is only now just taking it in.
They tried everything, did Wigan. They threw it all at the Tigers. And they came up trump. Hungry for it. They certainly were.
They absolutely were hungry for it. No one hungrier than Stuart Raper. There's the coach with Bill.
Stuart is one step towards that grand final, but boy, it took some work.
Yeah, a lot of hard work. Proud of the guys. A great defensive effort, and I'm glad the season's not over yet.
But boy, they put you through the mill again.
Oh yeah, it's the way they do it, and I don't mind. So, but you know, these guys showed a true grit, and to beat a class outfit like Wigan is a big effort, and we've done it today.
Just 3 more to go now.
Yeah, 3 more to go. We'll see how we go.
Yes, just 3 more to go for the Castleford Tigers and Stuart Raper. But an absolutely famous victory for them. Not many clubs, Steve-O, can boast 3 wins against Wigan in a lifetime. Never mind a season.
That is for sure. And they came into this, yeah, he says, and rightly so. The defensive effort in that second half will go down. They will be legends over Castleford area, and why not? So often we see coaches show no emotion, not this fella.
Well, once the final siren sounds, Stuart Raper celebrates with the best of them. But there's a long, long way before they can celebrate really in 1999. The champions, there's 1 or 2 tears there, I think, on that field. They're out. The outgoing champions of 1998 will not be champions in 1999.
And a bare cupboard at the Wigan club.
First time in 15 years that there's been no silverware.
Well, I hope nobody loses a job over it. Someone's had to polish them for years and years, but I'm afraid not in 1999. The skipper goes in dejected. He threw all he knew, but this Castleford defence was absolutely supreme, especially in the second half.
Well, Danny Moore says farewell to the Wigan public. What a game we have seen here at the JJB Stadium. Well, now, still to come tonight on Sky Sports. Here on 1 from 8:45, goals on Sunday. A look at all the weekend's goals from around the country. Over on Sky Sports 2 now, it's live snooker. It's the final of the British Open. Sky Sports 3 at 9, live NFL. Kansas City Chiefs take on the Denver Broncos. And on Sky Sports Extra 8:30, another chance to catch last night's fights. 3 world title bouts. That's all still to come here on Sky Sports this evening. But it will be a long, long way home for the Castleford Tigers this evening. They will be celebrating all the way back to Weldon Road. This has been a quite outstanding win for Stuart Raper. The brothers embrace, Stuart and Aaron, and even the Tiger himself gets a grip of Stuart. It's been one of those nights. Castleford have beaten the champions 14 points to 10. What a story has unfolded here at the JJB Stadium. Castleford have beaten the champions 14 points to 10. So Wigan, for the first time since 1984, will end the season without a trophy. And Castleford are still on course for their very first championship. Man of the match, Jason Flowers, the Castleford full-back. Here he is talking to Bill Arthur.
Jason, congratulations, man of the match, and there's the watch that goes with it.
Thanks, let's thank T-Sol for the watch. What can I say? The boys defended well, and we come up trumps in the end. We've been working on the defence all week, and we know where we're going to come, outside the ruck, and I thought we handled them very well.
As hard a game as you've had all season?
Oh, definitely. We knew it was going to be harder. Anne April has been telling us about this semi-final cutthroat, and we've been talking all week about it, and the boys did well.
To beat Wigan 3 times in one season, that's something, isn't it?
Oh, it's tremendous. It just proves that how far we've come this year, you know what I mean? His defence, and out wide as backs, Michael Eager, Dale Fitz, Adrian Vowles is leading up front with Dean Sampson.
All you've got to do is go back to Headingley.
Oh, yeah, it'll be hard against Leeds, but we all seem to put in a good performance against Leeds, and hopefully the lads will put the same performance like they did out there and come where we win.
Thanks a lot, well done.
Fantastic effort from Jason Flowers and all of the Castleford Tigers, and he was picked also by James Carlton from London, and James is off to the grand final on October the 9th at Old Trafford. Will Castleford be going with them? What an effort they have put in here tonight. The one thing that might go against them, they've only got 5 days to prepare now for the knockout, which is the next match, and that's on Friday at Headingley against the Leeds Rhinos, who played, of course, on Friday just gone against the Saints. It's Leeds against Castleford, Friday at 7 on Sky Sports 1. I rather fancy they'll have the big keys out, because they'll be locking people out of Headingley on Friday night. There will be a massive crowd to see Leeds and Castleford next Friday night at 7. That's something to look forward to. Let's now reflect on the Castleford victory. We've got Henry Paul here with us, of course, once of the Wigan Warriors, now of the Bradford Bulls. Look at him, he's as fresh as a daisy. 4 clubs have knocked hell out of each other over this weekend, haven't they? Chose the words quite carefully there. And you've been able to sit back and watch it all.
Yeah, it's been great games. Good on them, you know. I hope they knock more lumps out of each other on Friday night. Yeah, we've had the chance to freshen up, and like last year with Wigan, it's great to just sit back and watch and get the injuries right in our camp. So, you know, we know that they're all tough games now, so tonight was no different.
The Castleford players were magnificent this evening. You could have picked any one of the 17 who was on the field as man of the match. But I think Danny Orr, what more does he have to do to get the vote from Andy Goodway and his staff?
Yeah, I agree with you. Both teams were quality. It showed no tries in the second half because the defences really wanted to get there and make those last-ditch tackles. Danny Orr, you know, I'm his halfback myself, and the way he got out of the line and chased those kicks down, great effort. But, yeah, Jason Flowers worked tirelessly, so good on him.
Yes, well done to Jason Flowers, man of the match. We'll hear from Steve-O in a few moments' time. Before that, let's hear from 2 more of the Castleford heroes, Dean Sampson, but first, Adrian Vowles, the captain.
Adrian, the fact that you were out on your feet at the end of that just shows what a tough game it was.
Well, it's the fastest game we've played in for a while, and I guess that's semi-final football, and that's my first taste of it, and I like it.
I understand you were working on defence through the week. It came in handy, didn't it?
Well, I mean, we scrambled today, we covered for each other, and in the end, that's what won us the game. So it was a good effort.
Not stopping a few moments at the end?
Oh, mate, lucky I've got no hair to lose it, so it's all right.
But of course, this is just the first step. I mean, this is the hard way to do it, isn't it?
Oh, it is. You know, we've got another, I think, 3 games to go. If we've got to get to the grand final, we've got Leeds next week. That's another tough game, so, you know, we're ready for that as well.
Well, you can celebrate this first. Let's move on to Dean Sampson. When we were speaking during the week, brought up the subject of the last knockout game you played in, which was that Challenge Cup semi-final at Headingley. Was that going through your mind as this one came down to the wire?
When I touched that ball off Simon Hart and it went back to 1, I thought, oh God, no, not again. But no, it's the boys really dug deep, and at the end there, when that auto went, there was such a relief through the team, and you could tell, you know, it was as if we'd won the grand final. But not yet. That's stage 1 of his long-term plan for the grand final, and the boys deserve a great pat on the back because, you know, team efforts like that don't come along very often.
What about these supporters who came over today?
Well, you know, they were probably outnumbered 4-1, but they made twice as much noise. Absolutely fantastic bunch of people. You can't say enough good things about them, and they'll all be back there on all that they can fit in bar when we get back, and we'll go back, have a few beers with them, take the slaps on the back that we have, and then back to work tomorrow ready for Friday night.
Well, I'm sure that Stuart Raper will make sure they don't celebrate too hard tonight, because they've only got 5 days to prepare, as I say, for the next leg of this race to Old Trafford for the Tigers. They play Leeds next Friday night. But, Steve-O, the interesting statistic is that they missed so many tackles, Castleford, but every time they missed one, it seemed to me they had the cavalry behind them to sweep up and stop Wigan making any progress.
Yeah, I think that's one area that their coach Stuart Raper will be quite happy with, the fact that they did miss 25 tackles. Okay, that's a lot, and yet come away with a win. Away from home, it's not easy, but they do scramble very well. They do get back for each other, and it just shows you that the team spirit that is portrayed through the club. They were voted the club of the year only last week. Well, they've showed it today, didn't they? They really dug deep, and when you miss 25 tackles, that means that a lot of the players have to turn around and sweep up, pick up on the mistakes, and they certainly did that. They really were put into so much pressure. All right, they didn't score a try in the second half, but I tell you what, they came very, very close, and the man of the match, Jason Flowers, went so close. And Redlinski, what a great fullback this fella is. Davis did the run around, and you could see how they came through. It was good work from Heppy. And then Raper just tipped it on, and you could see that Gilmore was caught there, but not Redlinski. It was a try saver in the first half with Lee Harland. He did it yet again with the fullback there. They were put under so much pressure. Gavin Clinch, Andy Farrell, they tried everything. They went for this, and it was the post that denied the chance for Redlinski. If the post hadn't have been there, I am quite convinced that the fullback would have got then. And Heppy, what a great effort that was. He kept himself very, very cool under a lot of pressure. And as you mentioned there, when Sampson said, I touched the ball later on, but they made too many mistakes, did Wigan, and you can't win a game of rugby league football by coming up with the mistakes. And I think it just it sort of typified the second half from Wigan. They had so much possession, yet on that very last play, with only seconds remaining, Neil Cowie knocked on without one tackle being made. You could see the disgust on the coach, Andy Goodway, and you must now say, is the Wigan coach under pressure?
Well, that's something that the Wigan board will no doubt answer during the course of this week, and maybe during the course of the winter that lies ahead. But one of the abiding memories of 1998 was when Andy Farrell picked up that Super League trophy at Old Trafford last year and danced his way around the ground with the thing held above his head. He said in the papers this morning that that's what he wanted to do again in 1999. The dream is over for him, but he's brave enough to come out and talk to Bill Arthur, and let's see what Andy Farrell, the Wigan captain's got to say about this defeat.
Andy, Castleford really have been pain in the backside this season for you, haven't they?
Yeah, they have, definitely. We've got to be gracious in defeat. We give everything out there, and you know, I thought the Castleford's defence was absolutely outstanding tonight, and you know, there was no breaking them down in that second half. I think all the credit must go to Castleford, but you know, on the Wigan lads' part, I thought we give everything, and you know, as I say, Castleford just defended really well in the second half, and they thoroughly deserved the win, I thought.
But you must have thought, you were throwing everything at them towards the end, you must have thought that you were going to be able to get through. I mean, several times it looked as though you were. Yeah, we had a lot of back-to-back sets of six, and you know, for a team to keep holding a team like Wigan out, you know, it was an outstanding effort on Castleford's part. You know, they played well together all season as a team, and you know, they just show that when they pull together as a team, they can beat anybody, and you know, they've got Leeds next week, and good luck to them. But it must be painful for you and the guys.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shock, you know. We're sat there in the dressing room, we can't believe our season's over now, but you know, that's the highs and lows of rugby league, and you've got to learn to cope with them, you know, with the downsides of rugby league, and as I said, we've got to be gracious in defeat as well.
Thanks, Andy.
Thanks.
And he always is gracious, either in victory or defeat, Andy Farrell, the Wigan captain. The club season's over. Of course, he will be leading Great Britain, no doubt, on the Tri-Series tour at the end of the campaign. But 15 years since they last didn't have silverware at Wigan, Henry. You know this place as well as anybody. I mean, how big a pill is that for this club to swallow?
Yeah, it must be a shock to the boys. I know them really well, and close to heart, they'll really be feeling it. Not for themselves, mainly for the people of Wigan, and the great tradition that Wigan has. So yeah, I feel for them, but as other clubs, and I belong to another club, you've got to move forward, and like Andrew said, he's been gracious in defeat. They'll train hard next year, and they'll be back, so don't worry about that.
We're hoping to hear from Andy Goodway before we go off air tonight, but Steve-O, it has to be said that Wigan have in the past sacked coaches who have won doubles. Never mind won nothing.
And triples. They've done very, very well, haven't they? So, well, you must say that you must be put under a lot of pressure because they have been so used to success. And when you do analyse the game, I thought Wigan played quite okay at certain points, but too many mistakes, as I mentioned before, it does not help. And I think that there'll be a lot of soul-searching amongst not only the players, but maybe all the officials at the club. They've started out on a bad foot at their brand new stadium, but as this fellow at the side of me has already mentioned, do not write Wigan off. They will be back next season. No worries about that.
I'm sure they will. We can write Wigan off for 1999, of course. It's now down to 4. And I think we're just waiting for Andy Goodway to join us. And if he does come to the microphone, we will talk to him. Rest assured of that, providing we've got a bit of time. But, Henry, you know, it is a bitter pill for them to swallow. But let's now look ahead as far as the playoffs are concerned. 4 teams are now left. Bradford, you're fresh as a daisy. You'll be fancying your chances, won't you?
What we'll do is we won't underestimate anyone now, because only 2 can get there. What we've seen, I've seen Helens this year, can be brilliant, and it's up to us to try and stop them. They're missing Sean Long, but other guys are coming in to fill their space. The young Paul Wellens and that. So we've got our eye on everyone now in the Super League.
We've got to just interrupt you, Henry, because Andy Goodway has come to the microphone. Here he is with Bill.
Andy, defences win matches, and that's what really turned it for Castleford.
I think the defence was outstanding. You know, it was resolute, they never broke, and we certainly asked enough questions, and fair play to Castleford, they deserved the win.
You lost Tony Smith very early on. Do you think that was key?
Well, it doesn't help. You know, we practice things all week, and then we take one of our main players out, and it just disrupts us a little bit. But the lads came in and gave 110%, and that's all we can ask.
But this is a painful way to lose your grip on that trophy, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. You know, we're the champions and we want to remain champions, but it wasn't to be, so we'll look to rebuild and restructure and try and pick up things for next season. All right, then.
Thanks, Andy.
Disappointed, I think it was etched all over his face. Steve-O, reaction to the way he approached those questions from Bill?
Well, I think he's very disappointed, and rightly so. I mean, the season is finished for them then, but let's not forget also that they were without Gary Connolly. But I think when he will analyse and look through the tape, I think we will find that they had so many opportunities, they didn't take them, and the support play was very, very poor. Now, it's very unusual to see a Wigan side not support the ball carrier, and they did that so many times. We saw it so often, especially Andy Farrell, when he was trying to turn and then throw it out, no support.
Yes, so near yet so far. Wigan then, by dint of this defeat, they finished 5th in the table, and the rest march on. Leeds Castleford now next Friday at 7, Sky Sports 1. We've got one heck of a weekend coming up for you. Dewsbury against Hunslet in the Northern Ford Premiership Grand Final, Saturday at 6. Melbourne against St George in the Aussie Grand Final, Sunday morning at 6, Sky Sports 1. And the Bulls against the Saints, Sunday 6:30, Sky Sports 1. We'll see Henry Paul again then. From us all here, goodbye.